boxing fans. I'm Jim Lampley, along with two-time heavyweight champion George Foreman, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. It was yet another milestone in the glorious career of Oscar De La Hoya, fighting for the first time at the 154-pound weight pedestal from which he hopes to do future business with the three opponents who are likely to define the rest of De La Hoya's career: Fernando Vargas, Felix Trinidad, Shane Mosley. But first, George, a title fight at 154 so that De La Hoya could collect a title belt against Spain's Javier Castillejo. As we got ready to watch him fighting in this class for the first time, what were you looking for?
I was looking to see if Oscar would be able to bring out that amazing footwork that he possessed in the lighter weights. He was always had speed of hand, but can he move up in weight and not drag the feet? I was looking for the footwork.
To see if De La Hoya is as light on his feet as he was as a lightweight and a welterweight.
Could the 54 bring the feet slower and lower to the canvas? That's what I was looking for.
An interesting question for you to observe along with George in the 12 rounds you're about to see. Larry Merchant, we met with De La Hoya the day before the fight, as has been our custom throughout his career. As we observed him personally that day, did you see the fire, the determination to be great, which has so typified his career up to this point?
In the sense that he was continually trying to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and as the old Johnny Mercer song goes, not messing with Mr. In Between. Before his return to the ring against Arturo Gatti, he seemed bitter, he seemed angry, he was blaming everybody but himself for his losses to Trinidad and Mosley. He was even suggesting some kind of conspiracy on the part of his promoter and the boxing establishment, despite all the success and the money he had. On this occasion, he was talking about the good things, the quantity of titles he has, rather than the quality of his opponent. It's good hype when you're in his position to talk about the quantity. Ultimately, it will be the quality of the opponents and the quality of those fights he fights that determines everything. But it showed that he's sunk his teeth back into it. He wants it.
Well, we'll see how badly De La Hoya wanted it against Javier Castillejo. As usual, even those boxing reporters who have derided him for his out-of-the-ring celebrity were drawn, largely by that celebrity, back to ringside to cover him. And, of course, the typical pro-De La Hoya crowd here to cheer his every move. So let's go back to Oscar De La Hoya's first appearance at 154 pounds, the night of June 23, 2001 in Las Vegas. Tale of the tape for Oscar De La Hoya and Javier Castillejo, and you see that the Spanish fighter gives up 5 years in age. He is 33 years old. The height difference listed here as a ½ inch. When they stood together at the pre-fight news conference, it looked as though it was a bigger height advantage than that for Castillejo. The reach advantage lies with De La Hoya and his terrific left jab, which surely he will hope to make a dominant factor early in the fight. They both weighed in exactly at the 154-pound level. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
These punch stat numbers for Castillejo come from his 2 fights against the Americans. As you can see, the numbers are very, very similar. Castillejo, however, uses his jab more often. De La Hoya has a terrific jab, but he often forgets to use it.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Oscar De La Hoya Javier Castillejo fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. On an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, as is usually the case here, we expect an enormously pro-De La Hoya crowd as trainer Floyd Mayweather prepares to walk him out.
It's not as big a crowd as De La Hoya was drawing 2 and 3 years ago, but it is a sizable, energetic, and passionate crowd.
kind of crowd which De La Hoya says makes him the money boss in these weight classes, the man to whom fighters like Trinidad and Mosley and Vargas must come if they want to make the biggest possible paycheck.
That's true, but he also wants them in order for him to regain his place in boxing.
De La Hoya as a professional, 33 wins, 2 losses, 1 to Trinidad, 1 to Mosley, 7 of his wins by KO, 11 wins in 13 title fights.
Tonight, Oscar De La Hoya was a 10-to-1 favorite in man-to-man boxing. People don't come to Las Vegas to lay such big odds. So Castillejo has been bet down to a 7-to-1 underdog at fight time. He properly would be, I think, a 4 or 5-to-1 underdog if people here knew more about him, which is still considerable.
And here comes the Lynx, Javier Castillejo. First fight in the United States, but he has been here to prepare for it for 2 full months, training at a ranch 25 miles south of Las Vegas. You see at the bottom of that graphic that he has had 5 fights outside Spain, none of them in the United States. It's his first time on this side of the Atlantic.
He is probably the best fighter ever to come out of Spain, but that's sort of like saying he's the best snowboarder to come out of Fiji.
Or the best bullfighter to come out of the United States.
You know, he says the main sports in Spain are soccer, soccer, soccer.
Or more to the point, football, football, football.
Followed by tennis and golf and cycling. Probably 2 or 3 other things we've never heard of.
Castillejo from Madrid. Calm, quiet. As De La Hoya spoke at length at the pre-fight news conference earlier this week, Castillejo dispensed with the normal routine of having an interpreter repeat into his ear what De La Hoya was saying. Asked later about it, he said, "There was nothing of interest for me there." And the record for Javier Castillejo, 55 professional fights, 51 wins, 4 losses, 34 KOs, title holder at 154 pounds for 2.5 years. Now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the city of entertainment, the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, Univision Sports, in association with Murad Muhammad, M&M Sports, and Corona Extra, proudly present 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The 3 judges assigned to ringside scoring this bout on the 10-point must system will be from the United States, Chuck Jampa, From Thailand, Anek Hongtongkam. And from England, John Keane. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, from Nevada, USA, Vic Draculich. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red and weighing in at 154 pounds. He captured Olympic gold in 1992 and now, as a professional, with 33 victories in 35 bouts, including 27 knockouts, he has captured 5 world championships. Tonight, he is the challenger, looking to capture number 6. Ladies and gentlemen, from East LA, here is the former junior lightweight, former super lightweight, and 2-time welterweight champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. And across the ring, his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with gold. He also weighed in at 154 pounds. His professional record is an outstanding one, consisting of 51 victories in his 55 bouts, including 34 knockouts. And he is undefeated for the last 5.5 years, winning 14 consecutive contests with 11 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, from Madrid, España, making his 6th title defense, presenting the reigning and defending WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Javier the Lynx Castillejo.
Chief second? Just chief second. All right, gentlemen, this is for the WBC Super Welterweight title. You received your instructions. Again, I want to caution you. Any punches below here will be called low. Any punches here will be called low. With that, are there any questions? Any questions, Chief seconds? Remember, obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up now, good luck to both of you. Let's go.
We've heard much talk about the quantity of titles De La Hoya has won. What we want to know is whether this is a quality fight or a quantity fight.
Round 1 begins. In his April bout against Arturo Gatti, De La Hoya looked very fluid, very loose, threw the right hand in particular with greater effectiveness than we've seen before. That was against a relatively easy target. And the left hook wobbles Castillejo early.
I thought it might have been a quick little right hand, Jim.
Castillejo has got to make certain that he keeps this a European-type fight. Don't try to mix it up with this guy and exchanges. Just jab now, move out of the way, keep your hands high. You can win this thing on point because Oscar prepared like an American to slip and move and mix it up.
What's a European-type fight, George?
You just keep your hands up and don't go for any power shots. Just keep that jab moving. When a guy try to hit your back, stop it with your hands. Right hands, just good intentions, no power.
Castillejo's first clean shot is a left hook to the body.
And Oscar will find tonight that his best points tonight will be the left jab. He's got to be dedicated to it. This guy's tall, and he doesn't bend down into a lot of good shots. You got to just go on top with what you can get. If you're waiting to slip and move, you'll be waiting all night because they bring their hands right back up. The European-type fighters.
The difference is fairly obvious here. De La Hoya with his left hand down around his waist. Castillejo with his left hand in front of his face. De La Hoya lands a right hand as Castillejo momentarily dropped the left. Good combination punching inside by Oscar De La Hoya.
You just cannot wait for tall, long-arm guys. Oscar supposedly on paper has a longer reach. This guy's tall, and he's got the advantage when a punch is exchanged. You wait around, and it can be a lot of trouble to you.
Castillejo starting to loosen up his jab against other opponents. On paper, at least, Castillejo throws his jab more frequently than does De La Hoya. Castillejo landed a solid right-hand side inside, and De La Hoya walked right through it. Lands his own right hand over the top. There's already a redness around the right eye of Castillejo, product of Oscar De La Hoya's left hand.
Remember, this guy has fought at this weight a lot, and he's been in with some hard hitters.
Very good round one for De La Hoya, who is not always a fast starter.
You're doing good. Work your jab more, okay? Work your jab more, okay? Breathe in your nose, let your mouth slow. Come on. Now, do it again.
No tires. Tranquilos.
All right, nice and calm, nice and calm.
Our interpreter is Ray Torres in this corner.
Cuando tendrás full izquierda abajo, vuelve a poner por de derecha. Que está cerquita para que entre
You gotta be close to him.
Vamos, listo. Las manos arriba,
CompuBox numbers in round one, De La Hoya landed 22 of 45 power shots. That's very good. He only threw the jab 14 times, and you heard Floyd Mayweather between rounds saying, work your jab more. Castillejo threw more punches than De La Hoya in the first round, but only landed 10 of them.
Now Oscar's taking charge with his jab. Be surprised you can win 5 or 6 rounds with nothing but your left hand. Oscar can if he really gets dedicated to it. Really want to show his combination, but this is not the fighter that gives you his body to do that.
Castillejo mixing things up a little bit, begins to lead with left hooks instead of the jab.
Here's a guy, fights a lot of fights in Europe. He's accustomed to guys being over-aggressive like this, so you just stay on your mark. Jab after they finish hitting you, keep jabbing. Nothing gets out of hand.
Castillejo short with his jab. De La Hoya able to step in and pop his to the face of Castillejo. Chopping right hand for the Spanish fighter, and he tries to go to the body, and Vic Drakulic says, bring him up.
First thing you notice here is that Castillejo knows how to fight. Whether he'll be able to take De La Hoya's punches as the fight goes along remains to be seen, but you can see he has a plan, he has movement, comes in, goes out, creating some problems for Oscar.
Castillejo leaning into a De La Hoya left to the body.
That's what you want to do with Oscar. He's a puncher. Make him follow you around.
Hard right hand by De La Hoya stuns Castillejo. And now the Spanish fighter back up and on his mark.
Oscar's got his left hand on his hip. You see a guy doing that, he's just looking for one shot. And that's when you can get him. Hands down, he can't do anything with his hands down.
Castillejo nailed him with a right hand shot as De La Hoya allowed that left to wander low.
It looks as though he's trying to invite the right hand so then he can do something about it.
That's exactly what he's doing, which is not good. You drop your hand, why not be hit?
De segundo siempre tira. Estate atento a eso. Coge ahí.
Be aware and throw some punches. Okay, deep breath.
A ver, tienes que tirar los golpes al cuerpo.
You got to throw body shots.
Tira la cabeza, tira los golpes al cuerpo.
Throw the body punches. That's what you need to do.
Respirando. Ancho, ahí, porque está cerquita. Puedes meterle ese golpe. ¿Verdad?
How you feel? Good. Breathe in and let out deep. Get your combinations going. Stiff arm it so you can nail it right where you want it. The stiff arm is your radar, wherever you go.
Right hands from De La Hoya, something that he has often neglected, as well as his jab. What did Floyd Mayweather Sr. mean by telling him to stiff arm him, George?
He wanted him to leave his left hand out there and kind of touch him like a man walking with a stick who can't see. You feel where you're going and then throw.
Like Lennox Lewis does.
Oscar better be prepared because this guy is able to go in with big fighters and saw up a lot of punches. So you take your time and set the dinner table. Jab, go to the body, weaken your opponent.
De La Hoya responded to Floyd Mayweather's request for more jabs in round 2. He threw 22 as opposed to 14 in the first round. As round 3 reaches its second minute, Castillejo seems to be getting just a little more comfortable in the fight.
And Oscar's turning him back into that old Frankenstein style of just walking in, not moving your head. You don't want to do that. Bounce around, get your footing.
You've always felt, George, that De La Hoya is at his most effective when he's up on his toes.
Yeah, because you can step in, bounce to your left, bounce to your right, and make things happen aggressively. You don't have to just walk in with your head not moving like that.
In other words, he has so much skill, why not use it all?
Why not use it all? He's not going to do that counter punching with guys who had fights in Europe like that. They just can wear you out with that stuff.
Castillejo momentarily elbowing De La Hoya off and then firing the right hand.
And what Oscar does, he has this trainer, Mayweather, who shadow boxes with him, and he's shorter. Oscar keeps his hand, especially his left hand's lower, by habit.
That punch did not land.
That was blocked by Castillejo's right glove and wrist.
So far, I don't sense real power coming from De La Hoya's punches, but that may simply be because he's missing so many of them.
Yeah, and he's done well of going to the body after he misses these headshots. He sneaks in 1 or 2 to the body, which is really good. You have a guy pretty worried about his body, he'll eventually lay those hands down.
Castillejo not landing at a very high percentage, but throwing about equally with De La Hoya. And occasionally sticking in a right hand as he did there.
Oscar has got to be told that it's not going to happen by reaching out at it.
Let's look ahead to some upcoming Time Warner boxing programming. Next month, look for these upcoming boxing shows. July 7, HBO's Boxing After Dark brings you Hector Camacho Jr. against Jesse James Leija. Also, heavyweight Kurt Johnson faces Larry Donald. The 21st, welterweight champ Shane Mosley takes on Adrian Stone. Plus, comebacking Michael Grant fights Jameel McCline in the heavyweight division. 1 week later, TBKO pay-per-view features light heavyweight champion Roy Jones performing against Julio Gonzalez. Joel De La Hoya Sr. seated at ringside, and as is always the case, shouting instructions in the direction of De La Hoya's corner.
Mayweather seemed to be advising De La Hoya to go more to the body.
De La Hoya gradually stepping up the number of jabs he's throwing round by round. According to CompuBox numbers, he threw 26 jabs in the third round. Castillejo throwing more, but landing only 4 of 38. Harold, how do you have it scored through 3?
Okay, Jim, 3-0, 30-27, Oscar De La Hoya. Jim, I got to tell you something. The first 2 rounds, I thought Oscar won with hand speed. He landed the cleaner, sharper punches because he was quicker. But in round 3, he backed him straight up. He just keeps backing him up, backing him up, backing him up. It's effective aggressiveness. He's scoring while he's backing up his opponent.
Chanting for their man, De La Hoya. When asked if he would be bothered by the large pro-De La Hoya crowd, Castillejo said, well, I'm fighting in his country. In my country, I'm accustomed to fighting before 15,000 people all the time. Every fight's a big event for me. It's not going to bother me.
You got to know how to fight the kind of fighters you're boxing, and Oscar's got to know that just loading up with power is not the way to do this guy. You just got to let them go. Jab, right hand, hook occasionally. Don't go for the power. They'll just run into one sooner or later. Oscar did a good job of standing right there in the pocket that time. Set his defense and did not move out of the way. Brings his elbow up close to his face.
Nice job of ducking through there. Body shots well thrown by De La Hoya.
Good body shots.
Excellent flurry as Castillejo statues up along the ropes and takes the De La Hoya body assault.
Castillejo throws his punches 1, 2. Then he stops also. Sometimes just because the guy's got the reputation, you jump on him and throw some punches. You're not going to keep your title by throwing 2 punches at a time.
I think the speed differential is greater than Castillejo expected it to be.
That's the stiff arming that his trainer told him to do. I'd like to ask Harry Letterman, is that legal?
To hold the arm out there. Another good flurry along the ropes. De La Hoya with an effective round. Leads the fight through 4.
Venga, coge ahí.
Respirando, Javi.
A ver, tienes que intentar cruzar. Tú lo estás viendo cuando viene. Y tira abajo y arriba, Javi.
Breathe in deep. Breathe in deep. Come on, do it again. I'll do 1 time. Keep doing like you're doing, man. Use the feints, okay? Feint and walk. Feint and walk, touch. Then we get a ready combination. Bring them all in, okay? Go.
The most impressive, interesting thing to me about De La Hoya so far is he appears to be more relaxed than we used to see him. He used to be so afraid of making a mistake that he seemed tense. And that's why I believe he would get tired in the late rounds of fights. Tension will beat down conditioning every time.
Well, you get tired in late rounds of fights when you throw punches. If you're a puncher, you're going to get tired. You got to live with that.
Well, there's no question. He looked looser and more fluid than in his previous fights against Arturo Gatti earlier this year. And the pattern seems to repeat tonight. De La Hoya releasing punches more fluidly, most particularly the right hand. There's a good left hook that he landed inside.
When you throw a lot of hard shots, I'm telling you, you need oxygen almost. And you see a guy fresh in the last couple of rounds, it's because he has not thrown a lot of hard shots.
Castillejo has shown that he can survive De La Hoya up to now. He can live with him in the ring, make a miss. What he hasn't shown is that he can defend his title. He can take after De La Hoya.
And you have a title like that, you got to show us more than that.
You got to do something other than fight to survive. Right now, Castillejo looks to me like a guy who wants to go rounds with De La Hoya. Not necessarily that he wants to show he can beat him.
Well, it may also be that he thinks that in the latter stages of the fight, he'll have a chance to come on.
There's the first big shot that De La Hoya's had to weather at 154 pounds. A hard left hook that landed flush.
Preceded by a pretty good right uppercut, I thought.
Agreed.
When you're moving in like Oscar, you got to move your head. You just can't just move in, your neck standing up like that. Throw punches, move your head. Move your head.
De La Hoya crashing a right hand to the temple of Castillejo and firing a left hook right through the guard. Good combination by Oscar.
Oscar's doing a good job of holding his hands up, waiting those punches off.
Another good right hand punctuates the round for Oscar De La Hoya.
How you feel? Okay. Take a deep breath. Come on, I need one more.
One more feints.
Okay, we gotta do it by some.
You got to throw downstairs also. And when you throw the punch, throw with conviction. Throw with some force. Throw that right hand.
De La Hoya did a lot of good stuff in the round, but we're going to show you in replay that good combination by Castillejo.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot more to find the combination to win this fight, because for most of these rounds now, he seems to almost have resigned himself to the fact that he's not going to be able to do much to De La Hoya and just want to survive.
I agree. Fighting to survive.
Is he going to take some risks?
CompuBox numbers in round 5. De La Hoya landing 31 out of 63, 49%. Castillejo, despite that good combination, only 5 out of 42. So it's increasingly one-sided, or so it appears, in favor of the American fighter, Oscar De La Hoya. He won his gold medal in Spain, and right now he's turning the Spanish fighter into gold medal flower.
And that's probably his advantage tonight. He had some international experience fighting European fighters.
300 amateur fights, George. Oscar's seen everything before he was ever a pro. Good left hook upstairs. throw the straight right hand again.
One thing I noticed that Oscar's not paying much attention to his corner anymore. Reminds me of a marriage that's gone bad and no one has said anything.
Of course, he came into the fight saying Mayweather's the greatest trainer in the world, best trainer he's ever had, learned more in the last 6 months than ever before.
Well, I could look at that from another way. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, George, but a fighter's got to be able to sense what's going on in there and make his own changes, not just depend on his trainer. And that's one thing that has been lacking in De La Hoya before.
I think what happens when you got on your mind you're doing something good, you don't want people to keep telling you things.
So you see him staring away from Mayweather.
Yeah, sometimes you can see a divorce happening and your partner can't even see it. Oscar will divorce you and you have no idea it's happening.
It is his 5th trainer.
Good body punch, right to the body. But he didn't come back with anything because he was in long-range position.
That's the De La Hoya defense right there, parrying shots with his right hand, and he gets rocked with a left hook and comes back with power punches of his own. De La Hoya seems eager to turn this into a slugfest.
Because he knows that Castillejo can't hurt him.
Stay. Okay. We're looking sharp. Shot right hand, came to the body. Next time, bring it here. Right hand, right to the body. Left hook, right hand up top. All right.
Don't get lazy with that jab.
Take a deep breath. Try one more time. Okay. Keep boxing smart. Keep your head moving. Keep doing like you're doing. Use the jab up and down, up and down.
Oscar boxing, punching aggressively, walks into a clean left hook, which might have shaken him momentarily. You know, we talked about Oscar having met a lot of Europeans as an amateur. As a professional, he's fought just 2 of them, a Danish pastry named Bridal and a French fry named Charpentier. Castillejo so far has shown that he's certainly more than something just to munch on.
Yeah, he's better than Bridal and Charpentier, that's for sure. Harold Letterman, CompuBox numbers have it as a De La Hoya wipeout. How do you have it through 6?
So do I, Jim. 60-54, 6-0, Oscar De La Hoya. Jim, we talked about his clean punching that he's winning around town. We talked about his effective aggressiveness. Let's talk about ring generalship. He's putting Castillejo exactly where he wants him. Back on the ropes and backing up. Oscar De La Hoya just taking it forward, just as we see now.
I'll tell you one reason why a lot of people are excited here right now, because if Castillejo completes this round, he will have won the over bet for the fans. 7 rounds is the over bet. If you hear the bell in this round and Castillejo hasn't been knocked out, those who bet that the fight would go past 7 rounds have won.
Well, George, Larry makes the point that De La Hoya is willing to trade shots because he doesn't feel that Castillejo can hurt him. Is that dangerous?
Well, you know, he's using that crossover defense, and you got to make sure that you don't move your hand up and down like a fan when you're doing it. That's why he got caught a little bit. Set that defense, keep your hands right where they are. If you move them, you can get shot, get hurt, and that's what he did a moment ago. And Castillejo,
the left hook caught him.
Yeah, Castillejo can get in there and take advantage of that when he see him crossing over like that. He's smart. He's waiting on the chance also. He's not just there. He just doesn't know exactly what to do yet.
You better find out soon.
The good thing about Oscar, he's throwing a lot of power away, and this guy's taking it like a piece of rubber band. And if this fight goes into the last 2 rounds, he can kick things up a little bit in Castillejo.
The fight within the fight. And Oscar get him out of there in the last 30 seconds of the 7th round. Some drama.
There you go again. He's dropping the right hand and not keeping the right hand right on the left hand. He got to keep his right hand right on the side of his chin.
Well, because every time Oscar drops the left hand and holds his right up in front of him to parry punches, Castillejo is coming around the back of it with the left hook.
Archie Moore said that you got to keep it there. Don't move it around.
And there's the cheer from those in the crowd who bet the over.
Cuidado con esto, tú, gilipollas, que lo estás asfixiando, coño. No bajes. ¿Qué te pasa? ¿Qué pasa?
Que te den por culo, Javi.
No, pues que no me puedo agachar aquí, coño.
Ahora, Javi. Tienes que tirar los golpes con corazón, ponerle algo.
Okay, you got to throw a lot of combinations.
Triunfo en los golpes, Javi.
No puedes tomar el trabajo. Respirando, Javi. Eso es.
Quédate para cruzarte con él, Javi.
Good? Okay, breathe in slow one time for me.
That body, baby. That body.
So let's break the body down again, okay? You were beating the head, forget about the head. Break your body down some more, okay? See the measure of the right hand?
Floyd Mayweather asking De La Hoya to go to Castillejo's body in this round. In the 7th round, by CompuBox numbers, De La Hoya threw the jab 36 times, that's a bunch, and landed 16 of them, that's good. So
Castillejo has got a good right hand. Whenever he wants to throw it, Oscar gives him that straight right hand. Why he's holding back on it, I'd like to know. Can't miss it.
maybe he's holding back on it because of the incoming from De La Hoya's left hand.
Oscar's not jabbing much.
Maybe it's respect for Oscar's left hook.
No, I think it's there, and he just was not prepared for it. You didn't go into training camp thinking it was going to be there. It's there, and you don't want to throw out
blood.
You get tired.
Blood from the champion's nose.
That would be Castillejo. Remember, it is Castillejo's title which is at stake here. De La Hoya bloodying the Spanish champion's nose here in round 8.
That is all night for him. Why doesn't he use it? Oscar puts his right hand in front of his face, left hand on his hip, and you can't miss him.
Castillejo said that he would be a bullfighter in this fight, fighting both from outside and inside. Those red trunks of De La Hoya have to make him the bull and not the matador. He's got to come after De La Hoya if he wants a chance.
So far, De La Hoya has been the bull, having initiated almost all of the action as we arrive in the last minute of round 8.
Oscar De La Hoya has shown Castillejo some power that he hasn't seen before. It's enough to make you back away a little bit. He's got good reason to be a little hesitant. He can drop Oscar if he only concentrates. Oscar puts the right hand over his chin this time. But you got to make him fan that thing.
Good left hand body shot by De La Hoya. Castillejo backing away, backing away, backing away.
Castillejo is thinking, hey, this guy's going to run out of power sooner or later, and it doesn't happen. Round after round, it just does not happen.
Those who accuse Castillejo of coming to this country to sell his title are partially right so far. He'll have to do something else to have a chance to win the fight.
Back up. Breathe in deep, let out slow. Breathe in, Austin. Come here. The man.
Okay, in every punch, you got to put some force in it. You got to put your heart in it. Don't blow your nose.
Poquito a poco. Después de que
After he throws, come inside. You need to throw that left, especially to the body. With soul, you got to throw something real strong.
I think De La Hoya is fighting a beautiful, well-rounded fight, using both hands in different ways. You wonder if he hasn't sacrificed in doing that some of the lightning that he used to carry in his left hand.
I can tell you this, if you move to your left constantly, Oscar becomes a sucker for a right hand. He drops it, put his left hand on his hip. Castillejo has not taken advantage of it at all.
Nope. Castillejo in the last round fired the straight right hand once and landed it, just as you said he would, George. There he misses with one. And De La Hoya rips him with a left hook.
All Castillejo has to do is be aggressive. Throw those punches with some authority.
CompuBox numbers in round 8 found De La Hoya landing 41 of 64, 64%. In other words, it's deteriorating into target practice for De La Hoya.
Puts his left, when you back Oscar up, he puts his left hand by his waist. Trinidad does that, and he waits and chop you on top of it.
De La Hoya with a big left hook upstairs. Castillejo strong enough to take it, but backing away, fighting to survive, allowing De La Hoya to rake him over and over and over, and Castillejo changing nothing so far in an attempt to try to win the fight.
And that look of resignation you see late in a fight when a fighter starts to believe he can't believe he's going to win anymore is on his face.
Yes, when you're alert and you have your everything about you and you just sit there, you've given it up.
Now he begins to throw punches.
Oscar takes a breather and he gets on him.
Oscar's mouth opens for the first time.
That's the footwork of Oscar. Now that's what I like to see. He does that, you can't beat him.
Not even Trinidad?
No one can beat him when Oscar has
Not even Mosley?
Try to shut me up, huh?
Just wanted to be sure, George. Good body shots by De La Hoya. Castillejo just too slow to take advantage of those openings that Oscar leaves for him.
Well, he's just not accustomed to fighting like that. Like a lion and tiger. One fights the other way, and the other fights another kind of way. Has the right hand.
One at a time. As opposed to the combinations which De La Hoya has landed throughout the fight.
Give me some ice. I need some ice.
Javi, tienes que intentar sacar la mano para no pegarle.
No, si es adrenalina. Respirando.
How you feel, baby? Huh? Yeah, but I'm just saying, man. Anytime you this far ahead, man, you got to take care of your business, okay?
Oscar coming on in this round, looking like he might be able to close the show before the final bell.
Nick Drakulic sending Castillejo to a neutral corner. And now he's ready to go. The sudden arrival of a judge from Spain, it's hard to imagine that Castillejo has won a round. Oscar De La Hoya has landed so many more punches and thrown so many more punches throughout most of the fight. So let's see if the Spanish titleist wants to save his championship with a desperation rally.
Hand almost to his hip, waist again.
That was about the best 20 seconds of the fight for Castillejo.
Yes, it was. Castillejo suddenly coming alive.
Castillejo. Oscar's using that fan mill, using his right hand like a fan, and that's what's happening. You cannot move that hand once you set it in that crossover. You got to keep it there.
Well, I think one thing we've learned from the last minute or so of action is that Castillejo can land, but he still doesn't have the power to hurt De La Hoya in those exchanges.
Oscar's going to learn at that weight class, things slows down a lot. Come all the way up from a lightweight.
Straight right hand for De La Hoya. Ripped Castillejo back. Castillejo seeming to tire a little bit after his offensive output earlier in the round. De La Hoya looking to land one or two big shots. Yeah, the punches sound better at 154, George.
The things are slow. Someone has better take Oscar into the gym and make him correct that crossover if you're going to use it. It's a great defense, but you better use it properly.
Body shots and a left hook upstairs by De La Hoya. Crowd chanting Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. They'd love to see a late round knockout.
Javier, if you're gonna throw, you gotta throw them seriously with force. You can't just stand here. You still have a lot. He's not. He's tired.
No puedes dejar nada, tienes que tirar todo lo que tengas, ¿sabes?
When you get him hitting up in the corner, let the punches go, man. Let a barrage of them go. They'll stop the fight. Believe me. Keep him in the corner, run from here, back up top. Just keep letting them go, okay? Stop it. They're going to look helpless. Keep throwing them, okay?
Floyd Mayweather Jr. Sr. has sensed properly that the crowd is a little bit unnerved that Oscar, although he's been dominant, hasn't been able to put any serious hurt on his opponent. And he wants him to be able to close the show out.
I think that's good advice. Come in like, what is that, gangbusters? You believe like that.
The crowd has been a little bit restive. They know that De La Hoya is winning the fight, but this is not the De La Hoya they're used to seeing.
And you heard Mayweather telling Oscar, if you get him into a situation where you can unload, throw a flurry of punches, and keep throwing until the referee stops the fight. I haven't seen referee Vic Drakulic in a big fight. Don't know what his predilections might be in that situation, but the crowd is going to want the stoppage if De La Hoya can produce the flurry.
Just keep in mind in that regard that Castillejo is the champion. So you have to give him some benefit of the doubt if you get into that situation.
Good left hook by Castillejo. You see how Oscar cannot determine what he want to do with that right hand?
If there was news, we'd give it to you. But there is no news. Just more of the same. All right, here's the chance. Here's the chance for De La Hoya to do what Mayweather wanted him to do, and he didn't sustain. So more and more, it looks like they will go to the 12th. In 35 professional fights, Oscar De La Hoya has a knockout in every round but the 12th. Maybe that will be the news.
Last round, baby. Suck it up. Suck it up. Don't shoot nobody. You tired, man. You're tired. Look here, let me tell you something. This your last round. You should be feeling good as anybody, man. It's going to make history, man.
12th and final round. Make it a good one.
Es el último.
It's the last round. You know what you have to do.
12th and final round. Make it a good one.
Okay, you gotta go for it. You gotta gamble. You gotta
Está
gamble.
muerto. Si le metes una serie, le dejas que reaccione.
Last round, you get hit a couple times on that set. Don't get hit. Don't get hit. You understand?
Vamos, Javier.
Come on, Javier. We gotta go for it. Do it for your children.
This round, Mayweather is telling De La Hoya, okay, you've got the fight won, just win it. Don't get hit. We'll see if De La Hoya has a mind of his own where that's concerned, because he wants to look as good as he can.
George Foreman, through much of his brilliant career, one of Oscar De La Hoya's great qualities was his passion, his desire, his overwhelming urge to be great, look great, do great things. You still see it?
The fire is gone. I did not see in it when he went to his corner. He just sat there. Doesn't want to hear anything. Look, I'm just here. For the first time, that's what I saw.
The passion does not seem to surface in the way that it once did.
That was a fire that would go back to the corner with his hands in the air screaming. It's gone. The punch is there. The footwork is there.
Maybe it's just disappointment that he hasn't been able to put the finishing touch on the fight, and that it would go 12 rounds, and that's not what he envisioned.
Yeah, he's fighting a champion of the world, and people are not champion for nothing. Nothing else, he can take a good shot, Castillejo.
Down the road, if De La Hoya continues on the career path he wants, there will be bigger punches, quicker fighters, more explosive opponents than Javier Castillejo. What will Oscar bring to that? He has shown skill and will, but he's in all probability going to leave here with a unanimous decision that may or may not be as satisfying as he wanted it to be.
Sometimes those extra pounds, carrying them around in training like that, will make a different man out of you also. He's in the big guy world now.
Biggest, strongest opponent he's ever fought. Technically brilliant performance, releasing punches correctly, landing them well offensively. Defensively, there have been some holes in De La Hoya's game.
He's got to finish strong now. He's got the power.
Whoa, whoa! Big left hook, Castillejo.
That's the fire we want to see.
There you go.
That's the fire. Bring it out.
It's fire, but it's not fire power.
But Castillejo has the honor, such as it is, of having gone the distance. Decision announced. He closed the show, landing 45 of 71 punches in the 12th round, 63%. All in all, down the stretch, it was target practice for De La Hoya as he landed constantly and consistently with jabs and power shots.
I think if we'd had another moment, one more minute, Oscar could have finished him off.
They only fight for 36, right, George?
That's all.
12 times 3, that's it. All right, let's take a look at the knockdown as De La Hoya finally put Castillejo down in the closing seconds of the fight.
It was about like his trainer said, one after another shot is going to do it.
Right, left, right, and down went Castillejo.
Just keep throwing and something is going to happen.
But before that happened, De La Hoya himself got clocked by a big left hook from Castillejo.
Whoa.
That's what brought the fire back, as George Foreman pointed out. And De La Hoya responded with fury. Here we'll follow it all the way through to the finish, and you'll get to see the knockdown again in real speed.
Oscar is just surviving as he would just get a decision and finally get a wake-up call. This man is trying to get you.
Harold Letterman, did you ever find a round in the fight to get to Castillejo?
No, Jim. 120, 107, 12 rounds to nothing. Oscar De La Hoya. You know, Jim, in this fight, you can hardly recall an instance where Vic Draculich had to break these guys up physically. I mean, there were no clinches in the fight, and that could be a very integral part of it. Had Javier Castillejo tied him up, roughed him up a little, he might have done a little better. But as it turned out, Oscar De La Hoya completely dominated.
Tell me about the extended left hand. Is that legal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can measure a guy as long as you keep the boxing glove closed. If you open a glove, it's illegal.
Thank you.
Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, we go to the judges' scorecards. After 12 rounds, all three judges scored the bout the same, 119 to 108, all for the winner by unanimous decision. Now a six-time world champion and new WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar.
So another title belt in a career filled with them for De La Hoya.
He's going to be called champion of the world now. That should change everything. Get your passion back with a title belt.
Watch behind you, please.
Final CompuBox numbers, and this is a landslide for De La Hoya. Scoring fascinates me. Looking back, I have to assume that all three judges wanted to find a round to give to Javier Castillejo, and they all decided to give him the 10th round. Meanwhile, De La Hoya was landing 282 more punches than did Castillejo. He was throwing 85 more punches than did Castillejo. He was landing at a violently destructive connect rate of 54%. And that's statistically brilliant stuff by CompuBox standards. Jabs, De La Hoya landing 156 more than did Castillejo. Castillejo throwing more than De La Hoya. 7% is an abysmal connect rate for the jab. 56% is almost unheard of. Larry Merchant stands by with the winner, Oscar De La Hoya.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Oscar, for winning another championship.
Thank you so much, son.
Give us your take on this fight. Was there anything in Castillejo that was unexpected by you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I just think that I felt inside the ring as if he was a little too slow for me to react fast enough. You know what I'm saying? When you have a slow fighter in the ring with you, I mean, he's a strong guy, he's all the credit in the world, but when you have a guy who's fast and has to make you think and aware up in the ring, then that makes you a better fighter inside the ring. With Castillejo, he was a fighter who hit hard, but was slow. He didn't make me really think too much, and that there kind of brings you down sometimes to his level, but my speed, my defense, everything was good. I'm very pleased with everything.
You seemed a little frustrated going into the late rounds that you had been unable to put on an Oscar-like show in there, even though you were dominating the fight. Were you frustrated?
Not frustration, but I knew there was something that wasn't there. I mean, there was something that wasn't complete. And we just have to go back and train and fight the bigger and better opponents.
Is it fair to say that this was one of your more well-rounded opponents in terms of using both your hands and using them in different ways?
Definitely, because we showed that we have the body shot, the jab to the body, the right hands over his jab, blocking his jab, coming back with my jab, feigning with my jab, left hook, so blocking, rolling the punches. But still, we have to work on a lot of things. I mean, Mayweather still has a lot on his arsenal, so we're just going back to the drawing board and come back with better stuff.
In becoming a well-rounded or a better rounded fighter, are you sacrificing in any way that lightning left hand that won you so many fights?
No, it was very difficult to land a left hook because I guess he was a fighter who was expecting it all the time. So I had to use something different. For instance, my jab to the head and to the body, doubling up on the jab and using more right hands. That was going to be the key.
So you feel that when you fight the guys you want to fight now, they have to think about more than your left hand.
Oh, they have to think about a complete fighter now. Gotti was the first step, Castillejo's second step. Now it's like 3 strikes and you're out. That's the fastball's coming right at them.
All right, let's take a look at the knockdown at the end. How satisfying was you that finally, after 11 rounds, 2 minutes and 50 seconds, right, you finally got him?
The right hand that wobbled him, that started the job. And with the left hook right back, right on his cheekbone or the chin, I felt that I was going to drop him because it was solid.
There it is again. So does that put a kind of an exclamation point on what was a dominant performance for you?
Of course, always. It's always going to be that way. I mean, I'm always going to ask myself questions. We're always going to go back to the drawing board and work on better stuff. We're always going to work harder, improve more things, and that's what Mayweather brings to the table. Is that he's going to show me more, and I'm learning, and I'm excited to come back and rule the boxing world.
Speaking of which, let's talk about futures now. Trinidad is going to be fighting for the middleweight championship in September, and if he wins, he says he's going to fight Roy Jones next. Are you going to try to, or your people going to try to dissuade him from fighting Jones so that you can get him before he fights Jones by offering him a whole lot of money?
Well, like I said before, once I hold this world title that I have now, it's like I'm in the driver's seat. And now, if they want to fight me, they're going to fight me for whatever money I'm going to offer them, which is going to be more than what they're making, of course. It's only fair, but on my terms.
You don't think that you're going to be able to dictate to somebody like Trinidad when you're fighting for his title, do you?
Oh, I will. I will definitely, because he will not make more money than he will make with a Jones. He'll make more money with me than he'll make with Jones.
All right, let's assume he goes through with his promise to fight Jones. That leaves Vargas and Mosley as the big fights you want. Vargas has stated that he's going for a version of this junior middleweight championship in September, and he won't be available to you probably until early next year. That leaves Mosley. Are you going to insist on a big fight against Mosley in the fall, or are you going to go to a Russian who is a mandatory challenger?
If it's Mosley, if it's a Russian, if it's Vargas, if it's Trinidad, I'm right here. They've been asking for this fights, for instance, like a Vargas. Well, now you have it. Let's do it. You know. With Mosley, of course, I have to get the rematch. I mean, that's a must for me. It's all about just getting revenge. So whatever fighter wants to fight me, but in my terms. Come on, let's be fair. Let's do it.
Everyone talks about quantity, the quantity of belts you have, but what you're talking about is the quality of the top fighters. That's what you really need.
Well, I want to capture the best of both worlds. Not anybody can capture 6 world titles in 5 different weight classes. Not anybody fights the very best. And you know, Larry, that I've been fighting the best all my life. And so I got to prove it once again. I want to keep on fighting the best to try to be the best.
You say that with a certain passion. Is the passion and the fire back to the point, even though you've made an astonishing amount of money in your career, you've tried another career, is this the only thing left for you now?
Well, the last